Welcome to our explainer. Today, we're diving into a really key challenge in performance management. How on earth do you measure success when profit isn't the goal? We're going to break down the 3 E's framework, which is, and I can't stress this enough, absolutely essential for your exams.
So, let's start with a puzzle. Think about it. For a coffee shop, success is simple, right? It makes a profit. Done. But how do you measure if a state school is successful? Is it all about exam grades? What about student happiness? Or maybe just staying on budget? Welcome to the world of not-for-profits, where there's no single bottom line, and, well, everyone tends to argue about what the target even is.
Okay, let's get into it. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll kick off with why managing NFPs is so tricky. Then we'll introduce the value for money framework that helps solve that problem. And most importantly, you're going to hear from a top examiner about a classic trap that you absolutely need to avoid.
So here it is, the big issue. For a not-for-profit, like a public hospital, success just isn't a neat little number on a spreadsheet. I mean, their goals are kind of fuzzy. How do you actually measure something like better community health? And you've got everyone wanting something different. There's no simple profit metric to just look at and say, yep, we're winning.
You know, it's not like a regular business focused purely on profit. A hospital is juggling patient health, tight budget constraints, and government targets all at the same time. How do you put a number on the quality of patient care, or figure out the value of a public health campaign that might not show results for years? That's the problem we're trying to solve.
Okay, so to sort out this messy problem, a framework was developed called Value for Money, or as you'll see it, VFM. It's all built on 3 key ideas known as the 3 E's. And this is the system that brings some much-needed order to the chaos of measuring NFP performance.
Now, I know this diagram might look a bit intimidating, but it's actually a really simple flow from left to right. On the far left, you've got your inputs. That's your money, your staff, your buildings. Those go through processes to create outputs. You know, things you can count, like the number of operations performed. But the real goal, the reason you exist, is way over on the right. The outcomes. That's the actual impact you have, like improving public health. And the 3 E's we're about to talk about, they map perfectly onto this chain.
Right. I'm going to jump in here. Speaking as an examiner, you have to know this definition by heart. VFM is the absolute bedrock of how we measure performance in the public sector. And listen closely, it is not just about being cheap. It is about balance. You're delivering the service and the quality people expect, but at the most economical cost. If you get that balance wrong in your answer, you are going to lose marks. Simple as that.
Let's break down that first E then, economy. This one's pretty straightforward. It's all about spending less. It happens right at the start of that VFM chain we just saw. It's focused entirely on the cost of your inputs. So the key phrase here is minimizing the costs of inputs. It's about spending less money, but without dropping the quality you need. You still need the right materials, the right staff, and good facilities, but the goal is to get them as cheaply as you possibly can.
Let's use my favorite analogy for this, the hospital kitchen. Okay, so your canteen needs to buy potatoes. Being economical means finding a supplier who gives you good quality potatoes for the lowest possible price. But, and this is a huge but, there's a risk. If you just buy the cheapest potatoes you can find and they turn out to be rotten, well, you haven't been economical, have you? You've just been cheap. And there's a massive difference.
Okay, so you've bought your ingredients economically. Now we move on to the second E, efficiency. This isn't just about cost anymore. Now we're looking at productivity. It's that vital link between the resources you put in and what you actually get out.
So, the most important thing to remember is that efficiency is a ratio. It's always measuring what you get out for what you put in. Think about it. How many patients can a doctor see in an hour? How many meals can one kitchen staff member prepare? It's all about squeezing the maximum output from whatever level of input you've got.
Let's go back to our kitchen. Let's say you rearrange the workspace a bit, and suddenly your chefs can make 100 meals an hour instead of just 80, and they're using the exact same number of staff, the same equipment. Well, congratulations, you've just become more efficient. You're getting more out for the same input.
And that brings us to the third, and you could argue the most important, E, effectiveness. So, did you actually achieve what you set out to do? This one looks right at the end of that VFM chain, at the outcomes.
And this is the one that really matters. Effectiveness ties everything back to the original mission. You can be incredibly economical, you could be ruthlessly efficient, but if you don't actually achieve your core objective, you have failed.
I need you to burn this into your memory. Efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing the right things. That one little word changes everything.
And this slide just nails that point perfectly. Our super efficient kitchen, churning out hundreds of meals an hour, is completely and utterly useless if nobody eats the food. I mean, think about it. Producing 1,000 meals that go straight in the bin is a total failure. The goal, the effective outcome, is getting nutritious food into patients to actually help them recover.
Okay, now I need you to listen to me very, very carefully. If there's one single thing you take away from this entire explainer, I want it to be this. This is where so many students throw away easy marks, and I want to make absolutely sure you are not one of them. I see this mistake year after year after year. They sound similar, I get it, but they measure fundamentally different things. So let's make this crystal clear. I'm going to give you a really simple way to remember the difference. Look at this slide. Memorize it. Think of it like a car journey. Efficiency. That's the car's engine. Is it running smoothly? Is it fuel efficient? It's all about the process of the journey. But effectiveness, that's the destination. Did you actually arrive in the correct city? You can have a wonderfully efficient car getting 100 miles to the gallon, but if you drive it to the wrong city, the entire trip was completely ineffective.
All right, let's do a quick test. I'm giving you 3 performance measures for a police force. For each one, I want you to tell me if it's measuring economy, efficiency, or effectiveness. Go on, pause the explainer right now, and jot down your answers.
Okay, let's see how you did. Number 1, the cost of new police cars. That's a classic input cost, so it's economy. Number 2, the number of crimes solved per officer. That's a ratio, right? Output per input, so that's efficiency. And number 3, the reduction in the city's crime rate. Well, that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? The desired outcome, that is effectiveness.
Fantastic work. Seriously, if you got those right, you've really nailed the core logic here. And understanding this framework isn't just about memorizing theory. It gives you a really powerful structure you can use to analyze any not-for-profit scenario an examiner could possibly throw at you.
So in our next explainer, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to leave the theory behind and get our hands dirty with a full exam-style question. We'll see you there.
Hey, if this video helped you, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. This keeps me motivated and helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching.